So, this is going to be a little bit different, even though I say that a lot when we start these podcasts. We have a special guest, but the normal crew is here as well. So first, who are my lovely people joining us?
Mike.
Travis.
And who is
CJ.
our special guest? Yes, we are being joined by a person named CJ. Who's this guy again, Travis?
Sora's love of his life.
Do you guys really... I remember you guys had Twitch beef or something like that. I don't know why.
Sora just immediately loved him, and I just had to roll with it from there and out.
Well, either way, so our topic for today is going to be, I'm not sure if you saw the title already, but it's going to be on a favorite video game soundtrack. And there's a lot of games that we have that we always love, and so narrowing this list down to only a couple of them that we're going to talk about was really freaking hard. So I was going to say, if there's anybody who would like to start, they can go.
Let's see. I'll start things off. Why not? So,
go ahead.
Both games that I want to talk about, I actually have beaten within this past year. So,
really?
Yeah. One of them was a stream where actually CJ, I think, made his first appearance. Kingdom Hearts. I'm trying to remember
I didn't know those were my favorites.
But yeah, Kingdom Hearts. It's always a great soundtrack. We talked about this in a previous podcast, but like, I love Disney, so I love that music. And then I also love the, original soundtrack part of it as well. Because I do listen to that while I'm studying, because it's relaxing, but it also keeps you going and blocks out, noises of everyday life. So,
Interesting.
I'll do Kingdom Hearts for my first one.
Alright, so Kingdom Hearts for Travis's first one. Who wants to go next, CJ or Mike?
I'll go next.
Alright, what do you have to say, Mike?
So, I guess the first one I'll start out with is a game that I recently started playing. It's not because I usually had my main ones that I always go to, but I kind of had a new one this year that I wanted to talk about, and it's called Nier. It's
Really?
kind of an under-the-radar game. It came out, I think, back in 2011, 2010. But the soundtrack in that game is absolutely incredible. For being such a rare game that a lot of people haven't played, the music in it is incredible. I've actually used a few of the sound pieces in it in our outros just because of how much I love that music. First of all, it has vocals, and a lot of the music that I listen to in games don't really have the vocals. And I don't know the singer's name. I can put it on the screen, I guess, so people know. But it's phenomenal. And in each area, the thing about music that I love is that in each area, it sort of gives off the vibe. Like when you're in the desert area, you sort of get a lonesome vibe, or when you're in sort of the grassland area, you sort of get a more vibrant feel to it. And I think the soundtrack does that absolutely perfectly. It's a Square Enix game, so I think you can kind of expect a good soundtrack, because most of those games tend to have better soundtracks, and most of the ones that I like and are like that, like Kingdom Hearts, for example, the one we just talked about. So they always nail it out of the park. And this one I sort of think is just an underrated one that I'd highly recommend people check out.
Is that one of the prequels to Nier Automata?
Yeah, it's it's the one that came before Nier Automata.
Yeah. Okay. Well, either way, I know there's kind of weird pronunciations on it. Some people say automata, some people say automata. I don't really know. But yeah,
I can't just say either of those words. So
I didn't know that there was actually an actual franchise of games. I thought it was just one. That's actually super cool.
I think there's 5 total games.
Interesting.
The more you know.
The more you know. Get that rainbow effect, whatever. Anyway, so CJ, I was gonna say, do you want to hop in with one of yours?
Yeah, sure. So my first game is, I love open world games. So like Mike, I like the sound changing no matter where I am in the game. So my first game is actually World of Warcraft, because I mean that is just such an expansive game. I think there's 5 expansions now. So no matter what place you're in, there's always this beautiful music in the background as you're slaughtering enemies, killing someone else that's trying to come up and kill you. So just the sound effects of the game and the music combined just are always good in every single area, which is really impressive for a game of that size.
Wow. I didn't realize that. I mean, I know that I guess we don't really know your gaming preference as well as I guess Travis does,
yeah,
but
true.
I did not know that World of Warcraft had such a good soundtrack.
Yeah, it does. And especially in the dungeons, raids, I mean, they put a lot of work into it.
Wow. All right. Well, either way, I guess I'll go with mine then. So mine was really, really hard because there's one game that I played this past year that was so close to breaking up in that top 2. I'll give the honorable shout out to Undertale because that soundtrack is fantastic.
I was gonna guess that.
Yeah, Undertale is so damn good. But the one that actually beats it out, and I know you guys probably wouldn't expect it, but it's Sonic 2. Sonic 2 for the Sega Genesis.
I thought you were gonna say Sonic Mania.
That one's great as well, but Sonic 2 I think beats it out. One of the main reasons though is basically because of the nostalgia factor as well. And Sonic 2 was one of the first games that I ever fell in love with as my young 5-year-old self that could barely get past Chemical Plant Zone. When I first got past Chemical Plant Zone, I felt so accomplished as a young kid. But even though that music still haunts me to this day, just the drowning thing, I'm sure you know what you're talking about, like that da 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 that thing. But yeah, everything about that soundtrack, like if I ever listen to that soundtrack, immediately my mindset switches. And for music to have that much of a power in my mind, I was like, yeah, this is definitely gonna be one of my favorites. I will say my favorite one though, I believe is Mystic Cave. Whichever one we're in, like the cave where you can get squished by piles of leaves. I don't know. It's weird, but I love that soundtrack so much, but it's not my favorite. It isn't my favorite. There's one that I like a little bit more than that. So who wants to go for their favorite one now?
I guess I can go since I started.
Not everybody jump in. Okay,
so, like I said, it's another game that I played this year. I've actually beaten it twice now in the past couple months, and I'll say Super Mario Odyssey, because it just makes me feel so happy. Because I think we all were talking about at the finale how happy we all were when it came on, to the point where we all actually cranked up our TV so we can listen to it.
It was so good.
It's so good. It gets you pumping, and I've actually looked it up on YouTube to sing along to it, because both of the songs with lyrics are great. And then we have been saying, depending on which atmosphere you're in, it still feels like that music was appropriate to it and put you in that kind of setting. Especially when it was night versus day, it also had that different urgency to it.
Some of the craziest things that I thought about that 2 soundtrack is I remember that when you go underwater though, it switches to the theme like an underwater, kind of more of an echoey effect, which I don't think that's really hard to do. But when you'd actually go into the walls, it would switch to 8-bit. That was awesome.
Yeah, definitely, because it brought that nostalgic factor, but yet it was still, a perfectly polished game. It definitely had good feels to it, and I liked it a lot.
That is such a damn good choice.
Thank you.
But yeah, Mike, do you know if Koji Kondo did Mario Odyssey?
I don't. I can look it up.
Okay, well we'll figure it out later. But I was going to say, because I already know Koji Kondo. Koji Kondo. I almost said Koji Kondo.
Koji.
Well, Kobe. But anyway, I know that he does amazing work with the Zelda soundtrack or whatnot. And I don't know. I know that he's done some stuff for Mario as well.
He did.
He did do it for Mario Odyssey?
Yes.
That man's a freaking genius.
Gifted. Beautiful.
Gifted.
Mwah. I told my fedora to you.
Alright, who wants to go for their next one then?
Alright, so I guess I'm next if we're going the same order. So I kind of have 2 that I wanted to mention here because they're from the same series, and that's Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
Because I have a really hard time choosing between the 2. I can, but it's really difficult. I slightly favor Final Fantasy X over 7. See, the thing for me is I'm a fan of mellow music that's more chilling or on the sad side than anything. And both of these,
whole Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, it is, and that's a lot of what Final Fantasy VII is too. Spoiler alert, but I'm sure everyone knows this by now. The scene with Aerith that just so happens to be really, really sad is one of my favorite soundtrack pieces of music of all time in any video game. So that's why Final Fantasy VII is such a high contender. But Final Fantasy X, I think, across the board has better music. You think of the music that plays in Xanarkand when you're walking down the path, and you have that fleeting dream playing while you're fighting enemies and stuff. It's super cool. So all the pieces in that one are really sad. I'm pretty sure they moved me to tears a couple times, both during the end part, parts in the middle. But then that game also had a lot of pieces that were a lot more high-paced. When you're fighting Seymour Omnis toward the end of the game, I loved the theme that played then. It's probably, I would say, my favorite boss battle music of all time. Because it's the one. Which one?
I was gonna say the one against is really good too.
Yeah, well, that one is so good too because it's so different.
Spoiler.
It's it's a metal themed music, and so when you think of Final Fantasy, you don't think of heavy metal type music, but that's exactly what that boss fight was like. And so I like that one because I think they experimented a lot with a lot of different types of genres and stuff, and I think they pretty much nailed them all. So that one definitely comes number 1, but Final Fantasy VII is not far behind it.
Yeah, you got to thank Nobuo Uematsu for a lot of that work, because Yeah, he's done a lot of work, and I'm kind of I can't remember what it was, because I remember I learned a lot just I was watching a lot of Final Fantasy reviews, and I think Sakaguchi was either stepped down or played a bigger role when it came to Final Fantasy X, because obviously the difference between Final Fantasy 9 and 10 is very substantial.
It's a difference of one.
It's a what? You're going to get some Final Fantasy people mad at you right there, Travis. Even though I've
10
only
minus
finished...
9 is 1. It's just fact. Get over it, people.
It is a
even
fact.
though I've only finished one Final Fantasy game. Unless you count Bravely Default, but anyway.
I did just make CJ's mind explode. I'm sure Mike is a little upset by me too, but you know.
But your logic does make sense.
My logic is undeniable.
I can't argue
Travis
that.
Travis is the smartest person in the group. Easy. If you say otherwise, you're wrong. But yes, anyway. Who else? I was going to say, CJ, you want to go before I'll say my last one?
Yeah, sounds good. So my last game, my favorite soundtrack, per se, is actually a little bit of a weird one. It's Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Yes.
And it's mostly the pirate shanties your crew sings along as you're, like, going through the sea, just killing all these ships. And, I've played this game probably 4 or 5 times in the past, year or so. And there's always 3 different type of people that react to the shanties. The person that just instantly turns them off. The person that just kind of listens to them. And then there's me who just blasts singing along in the basement as my mom is yelling down the stairs at me at 1 in the morning.
That's a great mental image right there.
It really, and I'm sure you can imagine me on a big recliner singing pirate shanties with my crew. But that game for some reason always sticks out to me for soundtrack and just overall experience playing the game. Yeah, Travis is here laughing his ass off at me.
That's because I could totally picturing him doing this and then his mom actually just screaming from 2 floors up to tell him to shut up. It's not even right at that stair level. It's actually from her room.
Yeah.
Wow, that is actually really weird. But not weird in a bad way. No, that's freaking awesome. I would do the exact same thing, because I remember one of the best things was when you'd watch some Disney movies with your cousins who were younger with you, and that's an excuse to belt out the Disney lyrics. Oh, I'm doing it to bond with my cousins. No, you love the movie too.
Yeah, I just own it, and I'm like, yeah, Mom, I am watching Hercules in my room, and I am singing along. I don't care it's 3 in the morning. I need to sing along.
It's when you run into 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. Travis, it's either going to be him singing Hercules or Xenoblade. Not likely Xenoblade nowadays.
Eventually I will play that game again and beat it.
And then we won't see Travis for about a month.
That's exactly what will happen.
He'll come out of the basement with a giant beard.
I'm already growing it now,
I've done it.
It'll happen.
It's I've beat it all. Everything, max level. But yeah.
The first thing I'm doing, Nick, is calling you and telling you about it.
Please, I need to know your opinion on that ending. It's so interesting but weird.
You don't mind 5:42 in the morning, right?
Absolutely not. I'll literally be getting ready for work. It's nope, tell me, Travis. I need to hear it.
Hey, Nick, that ending, though.
But yeah, anyway, so I guess if we're going to say for the last soundtrack, though, and I'm not sure if this is going to frustrate Mike or not, but my favorite video game soundtrack of any game ever that I've played, it's Diddy Kong Racing. It's not even close with any other game. It is Diddy Kong Racing. Holy shit, is that soundtrack so damn catchy. I can't even say, if you want an explanation, if you watch a Diddy Kong Racing speedrun, they straight up say, if you turn off the music for Diddy Kong Racing, you can probably save so-and-so minutes just basically based off of the lag at all, and no speedrunner does it because the soundtrack is so damn good. It's almost an accepted fact that if you're going to be speedrunning Diddy Kong Racing, you're listening to the music. So I think that's awesome, and every single time when there's times where I literally had it on the extended version for 30 minutes, and I never even recognized when that 30 minutes was up. I get blinded by the amount of time that I get lost in those catchy beats. Diddy Kong Racing soundtrack is the best. Fight me in the comments. I do not care what you guys have to say.
I'm pissed we let you go last.
Why? Do you not like Diddy Kong Racing soundtrack, Mike?
No, if you like it, then I hate it.
It's your opinion is valid, but wrong.
Yes,
fair. I'll take that. I'll take that. Well, you can find me all you want, but I'm most likely gonna be listening to Diddy Kong Racing after this podcast ends anyway. So
I'm listening to Diddy Kong right now.
Well, those were some of the first songs I even actually put in the outros for our channel as well. Like,
Yeah, that's because you made the outros though.
So did Mike.
Yeah, I guess Mike did make a couple.
So yeah. So I mean, either way, like you can. I guess Mike was more on the sentimental side. I'm more on the side of I was grinning from like all across my fucking face just because of the fact that I love that soundtrack so much. It's upbeat. It's catchy. It makes you have so much more fun even when you just get screwed over by the fact that Diddy Kong Racing's controls aren't really the best, but it's so much fun.
You're a loser.
Me? I think Mike just like has a hatred of like every game that I love. Hey, Mike.
Do.
Well, that's because all of your games are from the 64 that he hates.
Not every game there, but Diddy Kong Racing.
It's because you made me play it. I never played it before. You like won by a mile, and then you're like, "Come on, Mike, why are you doing so bad?"
Yeah, you
never
did that to
that.
me too, but I accepted that he puts countless hours in it, and I talk to girls instead.
Travis, you don't have to lie. But anyway, yeah, I was going to
My
say...
imaginary friends are all female, thank you very much.
Oh, damn, I just got shut down. Anyway, do you want to say anything else? Otherwise, this might be a little bit shorter of a podcast.
I think we talked about all the things.
I like Persona 5 too.
Yeah, talk about
Which one?
Persona 5. Tell me more about this.
It's really good.
Say, honorable mention for Persona 5, Mike.
I could make an honorable mention for like 20. Metroid Prime is good. Wind
I was
Waker's
actually
good.
going to make an honorable because I just finally beat that game. Yay!
All right, throw in some honorable mentions right there. Just throw them in there.
I was going to add on to CJ's Assassin's Creed and say I love pretty much every Assassin's Creed soundtrack. I think they are all perfect. And I know Pat would agree with that too, because I remember Pat in Pokemon Coliseum, when we did that Let's Play, said Assassin's Creed is one of his favorite soundtracks ever.
And is it weird that the Halo soundtrack always gets me a little motivated? Just
That
like
one's-
hearing the like creepy
The
chant in
beginning.
background.
The beginning.
Yeah, the opening theme is it's so good.
All right.
And because I sang, this is now going to be our highest view. Thank you.
Either way, yeah, I was
Beautiful.
gonna say if you're gonna throw in some other honorable mentions, I will say Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric. No, usually it's Travis that does that joke. I will say though, even if a Sonic game is bad though, the music is always amazing. Like if you're talking like a game like what was it? What's a great example? Sonic Unleashed had great music too. Sonic Colors had great music. Those aren't really bad games either. Like they're still fun, but I mean like the weaker of the Sonic games usually have great music. So yeah. Either way, any other honorable mentions before
And
we wrap
then,
this thing up?
like we kind of said Zelda kind of before, but just to officially say Zelda.
Yeah, I know Pat loves Wind Waker, so. But yeah.
Resident Evil Zero's save room theme was my favorite save room theme of any Resident Evil. What else?
Gotcha. Well, anyway, we're just gonna throw them. We're either gonna throw them like maybe Mike can put like a list of.
You know
them
what
on
has
there
a
or
great
something like
soundtrack? Guitar Hero.
that. Whatever. Anyway, we don't want to drag this on too long. But anyway,
Yeah, specifically
anyway,
the
we're
third
not
one.
gonna. We're not going to drag this on too long because, like, again, we can throw some other ones on there. We can go for hours about this. But anyway, in the comment section below, list what songs you or what soundtracks you really like to hear, or maybe one of your favorites or anything. Or if you want to give us crap for some of our picks, go ahead. We really don't care either way. There are ones that we have emotional ties to. But yes, otherwise, also you can suggest topics for us as well. But signing off, I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
I'm Travis.
And I am CJ.
Adios.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.